Behold, the glorious Zephyr Warframe, the best frame for all of the things. Except for the things they are not the best at. Zephyr's Turbulence is a virtually absolute defense on a Warframe that is good at staying airborne. This ability deflects bullets, and so you could be meleeed, but you can simply remain airborne, and then you are completely safe. And alongside that, Zephyr has some other very nice tools. The unique thing about Zephyr is that if you have a good position, which Zephyr's kit uniquely enables you to do, Zephyr is very powerful and gives you some unique advantages. Zephyr is a Warframe kit that ideologically flows together very well. They're obviously all wind related, but is actually also not directly synergistic. Like, there aren't synergies coded into the abilities, but the abilities are good in the context of you using the other abilities. For example, Tornado does a lot of damage, and with the augment that makes 12 tornadoes, can output an insane amount of status, but only if enemies are grouped together, and with Airburst, they will be grouped together. I mentioned before how Turbulence makes you essentially unkillable as long as you're in the air, and holding Tailwind while on the ground lets you simply sit in the air for rather a long time, and Zephyr's passive, of course, keeps you floating. Tailwind's tap can be used to fly around as well. And so Zephyr has a lot of mobility, a very good defense, a really weird but unique offense, the tornado thing. Airburst is good, it's a grouping ability. It's a little bit messy, but whatever. Having an ability to group enemies together is still good, and having that alongside such a powerful defense is really valuable, alongside an enabler like the tornadoes that can put out a lot of status. Zephyr is, therefore, a very good platform for weapons that group enemies together and then kill them. Zephyr does a lot more to help you do that than other Warframes that have abilities that group enemies together, and in exchange, Zephyr's ability to group enemies together is a bit more messy. On top of this, Zephyr has a very, very special form of utility in Turbulence's Jetstream augment. This increases projectile flight speed. Let me tell you a thing about projectile flight speed. This makes Falloff have a longer range. So if you have a shotgun that has a fall-off range, like it does less damage if you shoot enemies that are far away, projectile flight speed increases that range, so you'll do full damage out to a longer range. This means that within certain ranges, it's a damage buff that you couldn't otherwise have gotten. Now, there are flight speed mods, but Jetstream gives you flight speed based on strength. Now, the thing about this whole fall-off thing is that you might be thinking, well, yes, Andy, I get that it makes things fly further, and so they hit better at longer ranges. And sure, I guess that means that, weapons with fall off will do their further damage, whatever, but a lot of shotguns are hit scan. That is, they don't have travel time. So flight speed doesn't do anything on those, right? Wrong. It actually does help those weapons. If you take a hit scan shotgun, a weapon with no projectile flight time, and you give it projectile flight speed, the fall-off range will increase. You can actually see this in the arsenal if you use a projectile flight speed mod. It happens with Zephyr's Jetstream too. So you can do the full damage with a shotgun out to very long ranges when playing as Zephyr, which is not a thing that other Warframes can do. Now, it's a little bit better known that you can do things like make the Archiplasmor or Ketchmoon gun projectiles fly a lot further, because they have a set flight time and then a speed. So if you increase the speed, they get further during their flight time. Which is a little bit different, but of course is effectively increasing the range at which they can do damage. It's just those weapons couldn't do any damage at all at long range without help. And so Zephyr is a unique enabler for shotguns overall in a way that no other Warframe can be, with that very, very powerful augment for what is already a powerful ability. Now I know what you're thinking. Zephyr must be my favorite Warframe. And after all this time, you must be thinking, surely that is right. Isn't that right?